Wolfsburg, but we'll confirm Hoffenheim first of all. 3 changes to the side that lost 2-0 away in Frankfurt. So in come number 9, Jill Janssens, number 14, Lisa Doorn, and number 18, Valeska Am-Porta. We fully expect head coach Eva Frisinger to deploy 5 across the back today. Chiara Hahn, Maria Steiner, and Vela Duma, they all miss out today. In charge is Caroline Wacker, assisted by Silke Fritz and Jessica Bergman. Only 3 players remain injured for Hoffenheim: Fili Delicau, Sarah Ritter and Naomi Luyet, although Luyet at least is steadily moving closer to being available for selection. So for Wolfsburg, 6 changes to the side that beat Carl Zeiss Jena last Wednesday. In come goalkeeper Steiner Johannes to replace Martina Tufekovic. Caitlin Dijkstra returns, as does Janina Minga. Svenja Huth starts today at number 10. Janau Levels, and Soraya Linda comes in at number 39. And as I just mentioned, Joelle Weidemeyer misses today's match due to a minor ankle injury. Otherwise, all the players who were in the squads for the game against Jena are fit to participate today. Alexandra Popp, who scored that fantastic opening goal against Carl Zeiss in midweek, only 4 goals away now from equaling the all-time Wolfsburg goal-scoring record. And she's got 7 games to become their all-time leading goal scorer. So we're all set at the Dietmar Hopp Stadion. Hoffenheim against Wolfsburg. This one carries real significance at the top end of the table. Bayern have already applied the pressure with their win last night, so Wolfsburg know they have to respond to keep the title race alive. Hoffenheim chasing European football. They're looking to bounce back after their loss in midweek, but Wolfsburg do arrive with momentum. Everything points towards a big afternoon of football in the Google Pixel Frauen-Bundesliga. And that one will go out for an early corner kick to Wolfsburg, who also started very brightly against Carl Zeiss Jena in midweek, winning corners within the opening minutes, and they've done exactly the same here in Hoffenheim. So an opportunity for Svenja Huth to throw the ball straight into the box and make life difficult for the Hoffenheim defence in the opening seconds of the game. In it comes onto the penalty spot, and that was a free header for Lynette Berenstein. And she got it all wrong and heads it well wide of the target. It's a really good delivery from Huth. And Berenstein was left all alone. She had to steep low, but she was unable to guide her header on target. So here's Hoffenheim, making tracks down here on the left-hand side. Pedemors. But that one's been broken up by Laura Gluning. Harsh. That's a good ball forward down the flank, but that one's had a little bit too much on it, and that's gone out for a throw-in to Wolfsburg. Jo Janssens chasing that one down. She's had not a bad start, Eva Frisinger, since she's joined Hoffenheim at the beginning of the year. She actually joined the club from Wolfsburg, where she served as an assistant head coach for 5 years between 2021 and 2026. In the 6 games she's been in charge, Hoffenheim have won 3, lost 2 and drawn 1. Only 31 years old for Singer, and highly regarded as one of Germany's brightest young coaches. When she took over, Frisinger became the 6th female head coach in the Google Pixel Frauen-Bundesliga. As Dijkstra going back to Johannes, back in the side today after missing out against Carl Zeiss Jena. She opts to go long. That's flicked on by Pop. It's well played by Lisanne Kraut. And go all the way back to Laura Dick in goal, the 22-year-old. Regular starter this season for Hoffenheim. Alexandra Pop closing down the Hoffenheim defence, but they're able to get that one further forward, and that'll go out for a throw-in to Wolfsburg. Stefan Lerch back at the club where he managed, as I mentioned earlier, for 2 years. His assistant coach, Philippe Arnold, also has a Hoffenheim background. The 28-year-old took on the role of assistant coach there in July 2023 before moving to Wolfsburg in the summer of 2025. So plenty of connections between these two sides. Here's Linda, the throw-in for Wolfsburg. Close down. Svenja Huth getting a start today after finding herself on the bench against Carl Zeiss Jena. Hugely experienced former German international, 35 years old now, playing her 209th game for Wolfsburg. Here's Pedemors, but she's closed down quickly. Hoffenheim trying to make tracks down the flank, but Dijkstra has taken care of that one. Plays the ball back to Steiner Johannes. Here's Guto Bergsvand. Pedemors. That's well played by Linda. Pedemors showing excellent feet. Hoffenheim opting to press quite high here, making it difficult for Wolfsburg to play out. It's a lovely turn by Enderman, playing in Pop. And that's a fantastic ball out to the right-hand side to Svenja Huth. She's got plenty of time to get the ball across the 18-yard box. And that's really well defended by Hoffenheim, getting a vital touch inside the box, and they clear the danger. Here's Levels, back in the team today. Bergsvand. Here's Dijkstra. Starting today after also finding her place on the bench during the week. Here's Lineth Berenstein. That's a decent ball inside. But no runners available for Wolfsburg. Jo Janssens on hand to clear the ball into touch. And Soraya Linda is over the throw-in for Wolfsburg. Here's Berenstein. Showing nice feet, but she's closed down very quickly by Franziska Harsch. Here's Pedemors though, picking up the loose ball. And that one's knocked forward. And Bergsvand will take care of that one. She goes all the way back to Steiner Johannes in the Wolfsburg goal. That's a good ball forward for Levels to chase. Looking for the early ball into the box. She'll get a second opportunity. She plays it in. That's a really good ball to Berenstein. And that one goes just wide. Good move down the left-hand side for Wolfsburg. And Berenstein again with another opportunity. Excellent vision from Johanna Levels. And that one goes harmlessly wide from Lineth Berenstein. 29-year-old striker starting her 9th game today. 8 goals so far. Here's Dijkstra. She's underneath that one, but I think our referee has pulled that one back for a foul on Harsch. Here's Vanessa Dean. And that one's broken up by Johanna Levels. She checks inside, brings Pedemors into play. If she gets her head up, she'll see there's plenty of room over here for Dijkstra. And here's Linda getting forward. Berenstein with A poor touch just outside the 18-yard box, and the referee will blow up for a foul on Glooning. Sarah Linder back in the team today. 26-year-old fullback. She's been a regular starter for Wolfsburg since the turn of the year, but she did miss out against Carl Zeiss. Back in the team today. That's well played by Dean. Clearing long. Beg your pardon, by Vuringer. Here's Pedemors from the throw-in from Wolfsburg. Sergi unable to take a hold of that one. Not had many touches so far in the opening 9 minutes or so. Here's Johannes, the Wolfsburg goalkeeper, playing the ball out to Dijkstra. She brings Pedemors into play. That's nice play from Linda, selling the dummy. But she's been patrolled very well by Lisanne Kraut. And Hoffenheim are able to break that one up. There's Kraut again. Getting it back. Looking to get forward. That's a good ball between the two centre-backs. But Johanna Levels shows enough pace and composure on the ball to go back to Steiner Johannes. And she also shows excellent composure to play in Bergsvan. Here's Lindau. Being patrolled by Glöning and Harsh, and that one goes out for a throw-in to the away side. Just coming up to 10 minutes played. Still 0-0 here in the Dietmar Hopp Stadion, but it's Wolfsburg with two early chances. Lynette Berenstein, a header wide and a left-footed shot wide as well. Here's Deem, losing the ball to Huth. Linda going back to Dijkstra, but that's a little bit tight inside there. But Wolfsburg have been able to work their way out, but again, losing the ball in a dangerous area. Pedemors cleans up. Huth well patrolled again by Hoffenheim. That one's loose, and that'll go out for a throw-in to Wolfsburg. Just in front of our cameras here, and in front of the dugouts. Stefan Lersing, TSG, are a very tough opponent who repeatedly operate with intense pressing phases and bring a high level of intensity to the pitch overall. You can clearly see a consistent thread in their play, combined with high individual quality, he said in his pre-match press conference ahead of this game. And you can see within the first 10 minutes how Hoffenheim are making it difficult for Wolfsburg. Very well drilled, as you would expect. Here's Linda over the throw-in. Berenstein making herself available. Here she is, but that one's been put out into touch by Dorn. So Wolfsburg with the throw-in. Halfway through Hoffenheim's half. Huth on the move, but they go in field to Pop. It's a lovely touch to Minga. Levels playing all the way out. And that's a good ball in from Enderman, and here's Berenstein again with a header, and that one's been well taken care of once again by Hoffenheim. Lisa Dorn getting in front of Berenstein, and that one should go out for a corner to the away side. Alexandra Pop has ended up inside the goal net. Looks like she's taken a sore one here, and she will need treatment. So a little bit of concern here for Wolfsburg's leading goal scorer. Just take a look. She looks like she's pulled up, struggling with what looks like a right ankle injury. Looked very innocuous. I wonder if she just went over it on the turf as she was making her way into the 6-yard box. .34 years old now, Alexandra Pop, who will of course be joining Borussia Dortmund when her contract runs out in the summer. 12 goals so far and 4 assists. She's moving rather gingerly at the moment. And there's some concern for the She-Wolves fans who have made the long trip to Lower Saxony. From Lower Saxony, I should say, all the way down to Sitzheim. Roughly 500 kilometres those fans have travelled today. So here's Levels, over the corner kick. She goes short to Huth. Now she's made some room for herself. She gets her head up. She comes back to Levels, inside the 18-yard box. But that one's been closed down. Here's Dijkstra. Linder for Wolfsburg, but she's got that one all wrong, and that one goes up and over the top of the bar for a goal kick to the home side. And Alexandra Popp does not look comfortable here at all. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's an early change for Wolfsburg. What a shame if Alexandra Popp has to go off within the first 15 minutes of the game. Here's Kraut for Hoffenheim. Lisa Dorn with plenty of time on the ball. Hoffenheim just quite happy to just play it amongst the 3 central defenders at the moment. Here's Deem, club captain. Here's Harsh, turning back the way. Here's Deem again. Plays the ball out to Dorn. It's a good ball in field. Here's Gluning, playing the ball out. Now Hoffenheim have switched flanks. They've got a little bit of room down here on the left, on the right-hand side. Here's Van Dijk, but she couldn't make anything of that, and that one will go out for a throw-in to Hoffenheim, halfway through their own half. 15 minutes played, still goalless. So we'll just wait to confirm who's going to come on and replace Alexandra Popp, because by looking at those pictures, there's no way she's going to be able to continue. Pedemore is breaking up a Hoffenheim attack. Here's Enderman coming all the way out to Linda. Now she's got a little bit of room to get forward here down the right-hand side. She's been closed down though very quickly. And that one's for Huth to chase. And again, excellent defending by Hoffenheim, this time by Deem. Here's Levels, turning in field, playing the ball back to Bergsvand. And she's forced to go all the way back to Steiner Johannes, deep inside Wolfsburg's half. Here's Dijkstra. So as it stands, Wolfsburg are down to 10 players. That's a good ball forward for Enderman to chase. She's going to get there. Faced by Vorringer, plays the ball in. Berenstein was on hand, but once again, that one's been taken clear of. That goes out for a throw-in to Wolfsburg, and here's confirmation of the substitution. Alexandra Popp going off for Justine Kieland.
Die 17. Spielminute und neu in der Mannschaft beim VfL Wolfsburg mit der Nummer 18, Justine Schellern.
So Justine Kieland on. She started the game against Carl Zeiss Siena last week and bossed it in midfield. 23-year-old. 2 goals so far. Current Norwegian international with 13 caps. Here's Minga. Here is Kieland with our first touch of the ball. Levels. Here's Bergsvand. Pedemores. Here's Minga. Huth, closed down by Glooning. But she's done really well to find herself some time and room to turn, and Glooning brings her down. And that'll be a free kick to Wolfsburg, just inside Hoffenheim's half. Clearly see the pull on the shirt by Glooning. Lara Glooning, the 20-year-old midfielder. Joined at the beginning of the season from Bayern Munich. She came through the youth ranks in Munich. Here's Dijkstra with a long free kick, but that's got too much on it. And that won't go all the way through to Lara Dick in the Hoffenheim goal. So Valeska and Porta taking a sore one there off the advertising boards. She chased down that pass. Watch here. She gets a little touch there from Levels. I don't think there was anything intentional in that. And just a bump off the advertising boards. Here's Dijkstra playing the ball out to Linder. She's got time and room on the ball here. She brings Huth into play, gets it back. Here's Kieland with time in the middle of the park. Bergsvand. Here's Pedamors. Hoffenheim now playing with a very deep-lying line, making it difficult for Wolfsburg to break through into the final third. Very disciplined, as you would expect. But that's well worked to Huth. Pedamors. Huth is forced to go back to Dijkstra. Again, very disciplined play from the Hoffenheim defence. Wolfsburg not having much time to play on the ball in the final third. Here's Enderman. Minga. Kieland looking for the run of Berenstein. She's mistimed her run, and that'll be a free kick to Hoffenheim for offside. In addition to the coaching staff, several members of the She-Wolves squad also have links to Hoffenheim. Goalkeeper Martina Tufakovic spent most of her entire career at TSG and stood between the posts for many, many years, between 2009 up until last season. Soraya Linde also played for Hoffenheim for many years, for 10 years exactly, from 2010 to 2020, and then again from 2021 until 2024. The trio was completed by Lena Latvine, who wore the TSG shirt between 2017 and 2021. But 21 minutes gone here, still looking for the first goal. Here's Hoffenheim. It's been very rare they've been able to get into the 18-yard box so far of Wolfsburg. Here's Kieland, but that one's been broken up. Minga takes care of that one for Wolfsburg, puts that one into touch, and here's a Hoffenheim throw, halfway through their own half. And Minga's right on top of that one, but again, Hoffenheim are careful and are able to break that one up. Here's Lassane Kraut, but that one's very loose in the middle of the pitch from Glooning. Berenstein picks it up, brings Huth into play, down the right-hand side. That's an excellent cross-field ball to Enderman. She controlled it well. It's broken nice to Kieland, she's gonna have an effort. She tried to play in Berenstein, but there was far too much on that pass, and that one's gone out for a Hoffenheim goal kick. Oh, it looked like she was just gonna line one up and then changed her mind just at the last moment. You could see what she was trying to do, though. It was a good idea, but just too much purpose on the pass, and Hoffenheim have the goal kick. Dick this time opting to go further forward. Here's Minga. Exchanging passes with Levels. Going back to Bergsvand, who switches play to Dijkstra. She's got Linda over here on the right-hand side if she wants, but opts to go back to Bergsvand. Here's Minga again. Dijkstra for Wolfsburg. Clips the ball into Berenstein. Svena Youth picking up the bits and pieces. Kieland with a heavy touch, and that one's broken up by Hoffenheim, who come in field. That's got too much on for Glöning. Here's Minga for Wolfsburg. Here's Huth. Dijkstra again, inside her own half. Exchanging passes with Guto Bergsvand. Minga, Pedamors, I beg your pardon. Levels. A forward pass has been deflected out for a throw-in to Wolfsburg, halfway through the Hoffenheim half. Joanna Levels over it. But that one's been put straight back into touch from Ella Pedamors, and that'll be a throw-in now to Hoffenheim. They take it quickly. But Hoffenheim are very quickly closed down by the She-Wolves, hunting in packs. Minga turning in field. Here's Kieland. Came on for Alexandra Popp. Levels. That's a nice ball into the 18-yard box. That one takes a slight deflection, but Hoffenheim are able to clear, only to Kieland. Here's Berenstein, who's unable to take control of the ball, and that one runs all the way through to Lara Dick in the Hoffenheim goal. But again, Wolfsburg looking to make purpose in the final third, but just at the vital moment, it's breaking down. Dijkstra takes care of that one for Wolfsburg, and that's a lovely turn from Pedamors. She'll get a second nibble at it. Here's Kieland. Bergsvand patrolling the centre of the park for Wolfsburg. That's a good ball from Dijkstra out to Huth. They try to play in Saraya Linda. Here's Kieland on the edge of the 18-yard box. Good one-touch football from Wolfsburg. Kieland lines it up, has a go, and that one straight down the throat of Lara Dick. Nice play though from Wolfsburg. Nice touches on the edge of the 18-yard box. And Kieland decided to have a go, but that one was not going to trouble the goalkeeper for Hoffenheim. She's kept 7 clean sheets this season, but she has conceded 25 goals, Lara Dick. It's her 5th season with the club now. So here's Dijkstra, exchanging passes with Svenjana Huth. It's very tight in the middle of the park, very congested. Hoffenheim continue to remain very disciplined. Selina Serci putting that one out for a Wolfsburg throw. Here's Pedamors. Minga. And again, Wolfsburg keeping good possession of the ball and opening up the space now over on the other side for Enderman. That's a nice piece of play, and that should be, I would guess, our first booking of the game. Yeah. For a blatant pull on the shirt from Valeska Amporta. Watch here. She's absolutely been sold a dummy there by Enderman. And that was going to be a yellow card all day long. Our first of the day. That's her 5th yellow card of the season, which means she's going to miss Hoffenheim's next game. She'll have to sit that one out now through suspension. So free kick for Wolfsburg, just inside Hoffenheim's half. Huth and Levels over the ball. Huth leaves it for Levels, who drills it towards the 18-yard box. And Hoffenheim are able to clear that one. Can they break? They can't, because Levels is on top of that one. And she tidies up and goes all the way back to Steiner Johannes in the Wolfsburg goal. And there's Bergsvand. And here's Dijkstra. Here's Levels getting the nice break of the ball. She's got Kieland in front of her. Here's Berenstein. She's not going to get that one. Lara Dick comes out and collects for Hoffenheim. Dick again for Hoffenheim. Comes out to the left-hand side. But again, Hoffenheim are unable to keep possession of the ball. And Wolfsburg pick it up through Dijkstra. Dijkstra again comes in field to Bergsvand. And Pantour plays it back to Bergsvand. And now here's Levels. This time Hoffenheim just opting to just sit off the press and allow Wolfsburg to comfortably play the ball about inside their own half. But Caitlin Dijkstra now for Wolfsburg, looking to get forward. She brings in Linda into play. That's a good ball across the 18-yard box to Huth. Here's Pedemoors with a shot with her left foot, but that one also has gone high and over. And that'll be a goal kick to the home side. It's a good ball from Linda, right across the edge of the 18-yard box. Nice touch from Huth. Pedemoors on her weaker left foot, and that one goes well over the bar. Searchy able to patrol for Hoffenheim just inside Wolfsburg's half. That'll be a throw-in to the home side. Selina Searchy, 25-year-old striker who started every game so far, 12 goals. Leading goal scorer with Alexandra Popp. Now here's a chance for Hoffenheim to break with Van Dijk. She comes in field, inside the 18-yard box. She does well to hold possession of the ball. Referee waves play on. Kieland coming together there. But Wolfsburg have cleared that ball, and Minga's now powering forward through the centre of the pitch. That's a good ball out to Enderman, inside the 18-yard box for Wolfsburg. She comes in field, and that one's loose, and that one's been cleared by Hoffenheim into touch, and that'll be a throw into Wolfsburg halfway through Hoffenheim's half. Lara Gluning again on hand to clear the danger. Just over half an hour played, still goalless here in the Dietmar Hopp Stadion. Here's Dijkstra for Wolfsburg. Huth. Bergsvand inside the centre circle. She plays in Minga, who in turn plays in Levels. Good running from Enderman. Pedemoors now. And that's a little bit too much on that one. That one's been taken care of, and that'll go out for a Hoffenheim throw. So at the moment, Wolfsburg enjoying the possession of the ball, 65%. No shots at all for Hoffenheim. 6 shots for Wolfsburg, just the one on target though. But dominating possession with 33 minutes played. That's a nice turn from Nikki Van Dijk. Looking to get it back from Francesca and Porter, but that one's been taken care of by Wolfsburg. Now they can mount an attack of their own through Berenstein. Plays the ball out to Huth. She comes in field to Minga. She's got Levels to her left. Here she is. Minga getting it back. And Wolfsburg now forced to go back to Bergsvand. Dijkstra, she's got Huth in front of her. It's a good layoff by Pedemors to Bergsvand. Keeland with the turn, but again, very quickly closed down. It's a nice touch. Excellent touch forward by Anne Portor. Now Hoffenheim can break down this left-hand side. Kraut has got Sergi in front of her. Here's Kraut again. It's a nice 1-2 in the middle of the field. Kraut with an opportunity to cross, and unfortunately that one's gone wide of the goalposts and straight out for a goal kick to Wolfsburg. But nice intent from Hoffenheim down this left-hand side. But the end product was missing. So Johannes with the goal kick for Wolfsburg. 35 minutes gone, still goalless. That was Hoffenheim's first attempted cross into the box in 35 minutes. Not offered much, unfortunately, in front of the Steiner Johannes goal. Something, no doubt, that Eva Versinger, the head coach of Hoffenheim, will look to address at half-time. 10 minutes away now. Here's Linda. That's a really good ball into the box, and that's broken nicely for Minga, and an excellent save by Lara Dick down at her right-hand post. The ball fizzed across the 18-yard box from Soraya Linda. It's cleared, and Janina Minga with the effort from just inside the box. And Lara Dick falls on top of that one to keep the score to 0-0. Here's Kraut for Hoffenheim. She's closed down though by Soraya Linda and forced to put the ball into touch. That'll be a throw in for Wolfsburg, deep inside Hoffenheim's half. Here's Pedemors, quick throw in from Linda. Here's Dijkstra. Levels, just on the edge of the 18-yard box. That one's been closed down by Hoffenheim. Here's Keeland for Hoffenheim. Minga, switching play to the right-hand side. Here's Soraya Linda. This time she delivers with the left foot to the 18-yard box. Hoffenheim clearing again. Pedemors. That's a good exchange of passes. And here's Huth. It's an excellent ball through for Enderman. She gets her head up. That's an excellent delivery into the box, and Minga once again with the effort at the front post, but she's unfortunately just guided that one over the bar. Good ball from Enderman, good vision. And Minga's effort goes just over the bar, and that'll be a goal kick to Hoffenheim. But it's another opportunity for Wolfsburg, who are just quietly starting to knock on the door of the Hoffenheim defence. Hoffenheim throw. Jo Janssens over it for Hoffenheim, halfway through their own half. She plays it up the line. And Bergsvand showing a little bit too much there on Van Dijk, and that'll be a foul to Hoffenheim, just inside their own half. And they opt to play it backwards. Here's Diem, the captain. There she is again. She's got Glöning in front of her. Here's Lisa Dorn. Here's Dorn again. Bring Kraut into play. It's a heavy touch from Glöning. And also a heavy touch from Wolfsburg. Here's Diem. Ringer. Here she is on the overlap. Oh, and that's really well patrolled by Gutta Bergsvand. That's a fantastic recovering tackle, and she kept the ball in play as well. Levels. Hoffenheim looking for the throw-in, but Levels has done really well in a tight situation and eventually wins the throw-in for Wolfsburg. She gets a kick on her ankles for her troubles as well from Yale Janssens. Looks like she's been winded here. She might need to just take a moment. Wolfsburg have dominated this fixture over the years, winning 22 from 27 games. Hoffenheim have only ever beaten the She-Wolves on 4 different occasions. However, significant success did come in last season's DFB Cup when they knocked the then reigning champions out of the competition for the first time in 10 years. Here's Huth for Wolfsburg, looking to switch play. That's an excellent ball to Enderman. Then the left-hand side, she comes in field. Huth gets it back. She plays in Minga, gets it back from Minga. Here's Pedemors. She's got Linda, but she's left that one a little bit too loose. And Lisanne Kraut is able to get a foot in. That'll go out for a throw-in to Wolfsburg. 5 minutes to the break. Nice touch from Kieland. Here's Minga. Levels. Nobody available on her left, so she's forced to turn inside. Here's Dijkstra. Looking for runners. She gets it from Linda, and that's another excellent ball to the back stick, but nobody on hand for Wolfsburg, and Hoffenheim are able to clear. Here's Kieland, bringing Levels into play. That's also a good ball into Lynette Berenstein. And that one's been taken care of again by Hoffenheim. Lisa Dorn on hand. Throw into Wolfsburg. Levels over it. Here's Pedemors. Pedemors again. Closed down by Glöning. Here's Justine Kieland. Coming back to Bergsvand. Now here's Caitlin Dijkstra with a little bit more room. Huth. But she's forced to go all the way back to Dijkstra. Inside Wolfsburg's half. Here's Enderman for Wolfsburg, down the left-hand side. Showing good intent here. That's a lovely ball through for Berenstein, but she wasn't quite off the mark, Berenstein. Wasn't quite aware of the ball. If she'd been on her toes a little bit more, she might have made it. But we'll have a throw-in to Wolfsburg, just inside Hoffenheim's half. A couple of minutes now to the break, still goalless here. Here's Dijkstra for Wolfsburg, inside the centre circle, looking for options. She gets it from Soraya Linder. She comes all the way back to Bergsvand. Now a switch of play to Minga. Pedemors looking to get forward. Running now with intent. And again, a shot registered at goal, but this one's gone well wide of Lara Dick's right-hand post. But you can see exactly what she wanted to do. She found the space, she made the space for herself. Unfortunately, she's dragged the shot well wide. So Hoffenheim goal kick, opting to play it out from inside their own 18-yard box. And that'll be a throw in to Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim going down the line. That's a nice touch in field. Selina Serci on hand. That's good play, good press from Berenstein. And that should be taken care of by Lara Dick, and it is in the Hoffenheim goal. She opts to go long. Bergsano need to be careful here. And she got slightly lucky because it was a mishit clearance, but it fell nicely to her feet. And now Wolfsburg can mount their own attack down the left-hand side with Enderman into the 18-yard box, looking for the shot. And she's dragged that one well wide again, this time of Lara Dick's left-hand post. Good intent though from Wolfsburg and Enderman, showing a good turn of pace to get into the 18-yard box. But again, it's a poor finish from Wolfsburg. Just to confirm that we'll have 2 minutes of injury time at the end of this first half. Wolfsburg in possession. Here's Linder. Plays the ball back to Bergsvand. Dijkstra's got Kieland inside the centre circle, slightly loose, but Bergsvand picks it up. Here's Dijkstra again. Plays the ball forward to Ella Pedemors. Here's Pedemors again. Confirmation of the 2 minutes of injury time that we're now well into. Bergsvand bringing Dijkstra into play inside the centre circle. Here's Minga. Pedemors, that's a nice ball out to the right-hand side for Huth. Huth with room to cross, and she does, but nobody on hand for Wolfsburg at the front post, and Lara Dick is able to collect that without any real issues. So at the moment for Wolfsburg, it's that final pass and that final effort on goal that's let them down in this first half. With all the possession, but they've not been able to make anything count in front of the Hoffenheim goal. Here's Van Dijk. Coming in field, showing good intent. She'll pick the ball up at the second attempt. Here's Lisa Dorn. Kraut, back to Dorn. Deem plays it forward to Glöning. Here's Dorn again, but she's closed down by Huth and was forced to play the ball into touch, and that'll be a throw in to Hoffenheim. Here's Dorn again. Glöning. Patrolled by Ella Pedemors. Deem is forced to go long, but Linda's on hand to head that ball infield. Here's Kieland. Minga. She's got some room in front of her. She's up for the shot. And that one wasn't far away from Janina Minga. Right at the end of the first half. And that effort on goal will bring the opening 45 minutes to a close. So Wolfsburg with all the possession and all the efforts on goal, but it's the final touch, the final pass, and the final shot which has let them down so far. Steiner Johannes, nothing but a mere spectator in the Wolfsburg goal. But here in the Dietmar Hopp Stadion at the break, we go in level at half-time. Hoffenheim 0, Wolfsburg 0.
So, liebe Fußballfreunde, bin mir sicher, dass der Tim auch gleich die Einblendungen vorbereitet hat mit den Ergebnissen von gestern Abend und heute Mittag von der Partie der Frankfurter Eintracht. So, wo haben wir den Fabian und die Maike? Glückwunsch, Hoffi. Das war eine tolle Darbietung von unserem Maskottchen Hoffi. Also, liebe Maike, du hast gesehen, wie es geht. Oh, da kommen schon Anfeuerungsrufe, finde ich klasse. Vermutlich hat sie noch weitere Besucherinnen und Besucher aus dem Harz mitgebracht, aus Bad Grund. Maike, viel Glück, wir drücken die Daumen. Es gibt ein signiertes Trikot der TSG-Frauen, würde dir sicherlich gut stehen. Nichts gegen den Fabian, aber schauen wir mal. 4 Schuss. Schade, aber wir drücken die Daumen für die nächste Chance, für den nächsten Versuch. Pfosten. Nochmal bitte. Fabian hält sich schon mal bereit. Auch der geht an den Pfosten. Fabian Schwelz, Torwart bei den Altherren VfR Gummersdorf. Und es ist kein Zufall, dass er heute hier ist, weil nämlich seine Tochter Emma unter den Ballkindern ist. Tolle Geschichte, kommt aus dem Jagstal. Und jetzt gibt's Applaus für die Maike. 3 Punkte, klasse. Super, dein Applaus, Maike. Fabian, bist du nervös? War die Emma nervös? War die Emma, die ist heute Ballkind, war die nervös? Finde ich eine tolle Sache. Ja, aber es könnte ja sein, dass der Papa-Kind furchtbar aufgeregt. Bist du denn aufgeregt? Normal bist du Torwart, jetzt musst du schießen. Geht es gut?
Also, ich habe schon mal vorgeschossen in meinem Leben. Also.
Dann schauen wir mal, ob es heute klappt. 3 Punkte gilt es zu schlagen. Die hat nämlich die Maike vorgelegt und du kannst loslegen. Oh, das sieht gut aus. Und da hat er gleich den Vierer. Wir dürfen ruhig auch ein bisschen Applaus spenden. Der Fabian legt mit einem Vierer los, trifft dann den Pfosten und legt nochmal einen Vierer nach. Oh je, um Gottes Willen. Ich glaube, Das haben wir selten. Also hier kommt Handshake, Glückwunsch. Mein lieber Scholli, auch bei dir herzlichen Dank. Gib doch mal das wunderschön signierte Trikot hoch. Du gehst nicht leer aus, du bekommst eins dann ohne Autogramme. Haben wir irgendjemanden, der das festhält? Mit einem Foto brauchen wir das. Aber euer Applaus nochmal. Vielen Dank, hat total Spaß gemacht. Und schön, dass ihr euch registriert habt. Wir freuen uns, dass die Maike aus dem Harz hoffentlich öfters kommt. Aus Bad Grund. Vielen Dank, dass du heute hier bist. Maike, ganz ehrlich, wenn so ein Gegner wie VfL Wolfsburg hier ins Dietmar-Hopp-Stadion kommt, es ist schon was Besonderes, oder? Ist ja wirklich eine der Vorzeigemannschaften in Deutschland. Wie gefällt dir die erste Hälfte?
Ich finde es sehr gut, weil es ist halt sehr ausgeglichen, finde ich. Es ist immer viele Zweikämpfe, also es ist echt der Hammer.
Siehst du es auch so, dass wir Alexandra Popp die Daumen drücken? Am Ostermontag wird sie 35. Das ist schon ein gewisses Alter beim Frauenfußball, aber sie spielt natürlich nach wie vor einen Klasseball hervorragend. Ausgerechnet hier in Hoffenheim fällt sie leider verletzungsbedingt aus. Wir drücken die Daumen für alles, was da in ihrer Zukunft kommt.
Ja, auf jeden Fall und auf jeden Fall auch gute Besserung an Alexandra Popp.
Mit einem Applaus schicken wir Richtung Kabine oder Richtung Alexandra Popp alles Gute. Wir wollen sie gerne noch fleißig sehen in ihrer Mannschaft. Tim, ein paar Takte Musik. Wir kommen gleich zu den Ergebnissen nach dem Video in den Begegnungen, die bereits gespielt sind an diesem 21. Spieltag. Danke. Ja, so ein Bild mit Hoffi, das freut klein und groß, das sage ich euch. Auch die Großen dürfen sich gerne, wenn sie Hoffi erwischen, unser Maskottchen ablichten lassen. Das ist doch eine schöne Erinnerung. Toll, dass er heute da ist. Hoffi, unser Maskottchen. Und gibt uns nochmal Gelegenheit, auf die Spendenaktion hinzuweisen von unseren Blue Angels, den ersten Frauenfanclub. Schöne Geschichte. Es soll eine neue Vaterfahne her und auch die Handfahnen für Kinder sollen beschafft werden mit dem Erlös der Becherspenden. Wenn Sie gehen, am Haupteingang bitte einwerfen, dann können die Jungs und Mädels vom ersten Frauenfanclub Blue Angels diese Investition tätigen. Danke. Die Begegnungen am 21. Spieltag. Danke, Tim. Gestern Abend bereits eine Partie, die dürfte den Auftakt machen. 5:0 hat der FC Bayern, der Tabellenführer der Google Pixel Frauen-Bundesliga, bei der SGS Essen gewonnen. Es ist nicht das einzige Ergebnis an diesem Spieltag, das bereits da ist. Jetzt müsste Frankfurt kommen, so ist es. Eintracht Frankfurt zu Hause im Stadion am Brentano-Bad gegen den Hamburger SV. 4:1, 3 Tore Laura Freigang, 3 Tore von der Frankfurter Stürmerin. Das bedeutet, dass sie jetzt 8 Saisontore hat. Das gibt es nicht alle Tage. 4:1 Eintracht Frankfurt gegen den Hamburger SV. Die weiteren Spiele. RB Leipzig gegen den SC Freiburg. Dort steht 22.03.2026 um 14 Uhr. Es gibt weitere Begegnungen. 1. FC Nürnberg gegen den 1. FC Köln, dann um 16 Uhr an diesem 21. Spieltag und am Abend 18:30 Uhr Bayer 04 Leverkusen gegen den FC Carl Zeiss Jena. Das alles am morgigen Sonntag. Beendet wird dieser 21. Spieltag traditionell am Montagabend, 23.03. 18 Uhr mit der Partie im Stadion Köpenick in Union Berlin. Die 1. FC trifft auf den SV Werder Bremen. Das die Paarungen. Termine unserer TSG Hoffenheim am nächsten Sonntag, wer mitfahren will und die Mannschaft unterstützt und die Daumen drückt, im Dreisamstadion in Freiburg am Abend, ein Sonntagabend, der letzte im März um 18:30 Uhr, SC Freiburg gegen unsere TSG Hoffenheim. Weitere Ergebnisse bzw. Die Paarungen erfahren Sie natürlich immer aktuell auf unserer Internetseite der Fußballfrauen der TSG Hoffenheim. Dort wird dann irgendwann auch der exakte Anstoßtermin des Heimspiels gegen den 1. FC Köln stehen. Letzte Partie dann am Sonntag, 17. Mai gegen RB Leipzig hier im Dietmar-Hopp-Stadion. Tim, paar Takte Musik. Danke. Tja, in der Rhein-Neckar-Zeitung stand in der Vorberichterstattung zu dieser heutigen Partie zum letzten Mal gegen Alexandra Popp, Fragezeichen. Tja, was den VfL Wolfsburg anbelangt, wohl ganz klar. Aber wir drücken natürlich die Daumen, dass Alex Popp wiederkommt mit Borussia Dortmund. Dort wechselt sie hin mit Ralf Kellermann. Und wer weiß, ob die Schwarz-Gelben bis in spätestens 3 Jahren nicht ebenfalls hier in der Google Pixel Frauen-Bundesliga auftauchen werden. Wir drücken die Daumen. Ja, und die Anhängerinnen und Anhänger vom VfL Wolfsburg wissen es natürlich, nächsten Sonntag jetzt zu Hause gegen den 1. FC Union Berlin, dann das Rückspiel in der Champions League in Lyon. Das ist auch eine super Aufgabe, wir drücken die Daumen. Im DFB-Pokal sind sie die Niedersächsinnen, die Wölfinnen. Es geht nach Jena am Sonntag, 5. April. Das ist der Ostersonntag, so ist es. Und die weiteren Paarungen auch für Wolfsburg noch nicht terminiert. In Frankfurt gegen Leipzig, in Freiburg und dann zum Saisonende gegen den 1. FC Nürnberg. Alle 4 Partien haben noch keine exakte Anstoßzeit. Unsere Spielführerin Vanessa Diem wird morgen 22 Jahre. Wir wünschen Ihnen hier einen schönen Sonntag, alles Gute und sagen schon mal schönen Tag morgen unserer Vanessa Diem. Morgen Sonntag hat sie Geburtstag.
Welcome back. We're just about set for the second half here at the Dietmar-Hopp Stadion. Goalless at the break. Wolfsburg have been the dominant force, plenty of possession, 12 efforts on goal, but they've lacked that clinical edge when it's mattered the most. For Hoffenheim and Eva Versinger, there's work to be done. They're yet to test the Wolfsburg goal. And if they're serious about closing that gap on Frankfurt in third, they'll need to find more in the second half. Breaking down this disciplined Wolfsburg backline is no easy task, so let's see what unfolds in the next 45 minutes. Don't forget that coming this Tuesday, Wolfsburg face Lyon in the quarter-finals of the UEFA Women's Champions League at the Wolfsburg Arena. Kick-off is at 18:45 local time. Lyon actually beat the She-Wolves 3-1 back in November during the league phase. In the 11 meetings between the two sides over the years, Lyon have won 8, with Wolfsburg winning only 2. There's been just the one draw between the two sides. Wolfsburg will know that a good first leg showing is absolutely required before the return leg in Lyon on Thursday, the 2nd of April. Wolfsburg have actually won the previous 3 matches against Hoffenheim, but the corresponding fixture back in November last year made for a fascinating encounter, with Wolfsburg only securing a narrow 2-1 win in stoppage time, thanks to a fine finish from Smila Volotto. Hoffenheim that day applied themselves extremely well, recording more shots on target than their hosts, and equalising late on thanks to a Valeska Am Porta penalty. But they were unable to hold on for what would have been an excellent point in the Auk Stadion. But they're holding the Bundesliga's second team here in Hoffenheim, goalless at the break, as we get the second half underway in clear sunshine now. Bergsvand underneath this one for Wolfsburg. Clears it long. Deep into the Hoffenheim half. And Lisa Dorn with an early foul on Svenja Huth. And that'll be a free kick to Wolfsburg, with an opportunity to throw a set piece into the box here, right at the beginning of the second half. Lisa Dorn getting shown a yellow card there for a little bit too much exuberance. So no doubt the chat at half-time was very much the same, but let's do much more to have a better finishing product for Wolfsburg. Just showing some lack of quality in front of the Hoffenheim goal, despite the fact that they had 12 efforts in the first half. Here's Lara Dick in the Hoffenheim goal, going long. But Soraya Linda will be over that one. She's closed down by Jo Janssens. And she goes all the way back to Steiner Johannes, who brings in Dijkstra into play. She's got Minga in front of her. She's closed down very quickly as well. Here's Van Dijk. Lara Dick again, clearing for Hoffenheim, but that one's gone straight to the feet of Pedemors, but she's been well patrolled, and now Hoffenheim with an opportunity to break down this left-hand side. They switch play though, it's not a bad ball in, but Dijkstra's on hand for Wolfsburg. She clears it to Kieland. Kieland now brings Huth into play. Looking for the run of Beerenstein. But once again, Lisa Dorn is on hand to clean things up for Hoffenheim. She goes back to Lara Dick, who's seen plenty of the ball in the first half. Only one real save to make from that Janina Minga effort. That's good play from Nikki van Dijk. Gluening. Playing in Lisa Dorn in the left-back position. Hoffenheim will be looking to get their striker Selina Serci more on the ball. She's had the most shots on target per match of any other player, 1.3. She's also created the most big chances for Hoffenheim, 5 in total. And as I mentioned before, Alexandra Popp went off injured. Both of them came into this game having scored 12 goals each, but she's seen very little of the ball so far in this game. Inderman closing down Lara Dick and putting that one out for a goal kick to the home side. So as they've done in the first half, Hoffenheim opting to take the quick goal kick and then lob it forward from the inside their own 18-yard box. Here's Deem for Hoffenheim, looking for options further forward. Still looking for runners. She comes out to Janssens. Here's Van Dijk. She's patrolled by Bergsvand. Eva Versinger, the head coach of Hoffenheim, asking for a foul, but nothing given. And Joanna Levels wins the throw-in for Wolfsburg. Here's Kieland getting the ball back to Levels, who clears long. But Dean was over it, and eventually Wolfsburg are able to take care of that. That's a good ball forward from Pedemoors. Now Linda with room to move down this right-hand side. She brings Huth into play. Linda goes on the overlap. Here's Kieland exchanging passes with Pedemoors. This is good stuff from Wolfsburg. Here's Levels. Pedemoors again. Here's Minga. Goes deep to the far post. Here's Huth. She comes in field. And there's the effort on goal, and that's another fantastic save from Lara Dick in the Hoffenheim goal. This time, diverting it away from danger and out for a corner to Wolfsburg. Good touch from Huth. And that's an excellent effort from Soraya Linder. And Lara Dick once again called into action and parries that one away for a corner kick. Good save. 50 minutes gone now, still goalless. But Wolfsburg showing their intent at the beginning of the second half. Here's Huth's corner, delivered to the front post. That one's cleared. And she'll have another go in front of their travelling fans who have made the journey today. This time going a little bit deeper. Berenstein's over this one, as is Pedemoors. She tries to turn, and that one should be deflected for a corner kick, this time on the other side of the park. And Joanna Levels will come across for Wolfsburg to take this one. So 3 corners in quick succession for the She-Wolves. Let's see if it's third time lucky for Wolfsburg. There are those Wolfsburg fans who made the 500-kilometre trek today. Linda on the edge of the 18-yard box, looking for anything that may fall to her, but Lara Dick showing strong hands. Berenstein just behind her, looking to see if she could pick anything up cheekily. But Lara Dick's able to throw that one out, and Hoffenheim can mount themselves an attack here. And Pantour winning the throw-in for Hoffenheim, leaving it to Jo Janssens, deep inside Wolfsburg's half. She goes down the line. Here's Van Dijk. She's patrolled by Gutta Bergsvand, and that one goes out for a goal kick to Wolfsburg. There's Alexandra Popp, who had to go off in the first half with that ankle injury, which looked rather innocuous. Let's hope she's going to be okay for that UEFA Women's Champions League first leg tie on Tuesday against Lyon. Here's Kieland for Wolfsburg, going long. But that one's been taken care of by Furinger, who puts it into play just in front of Wolfsburg, in front of the Hoffenheim dugout. Here's Enderman, poking it forward for Berenstein to chase. And Lara Dick once again in the Hoffenheim goal is able to clear long. Bergsvand underneath the header for Wolfsburg. That's miscontrolled by Levels. Now here's a foot race. Bergsvand does well. Gets in front of Nikki Van Dijk. She goes all the way back to Steiner Johannes. Now here's Linder. Going forward. That one's taken care of again by Lisa Dorn. Showing plenty of composure at the back today. Gwyneth Berenstein hasn't had much to do. She's worked hard, but without much success so far. In 55 minutes gone. Here's Deem. 21-year-old. Germany under-23 international, who started every game so far for Hoffenheim this season. But that one had far too much on it. No runners for Hoffenheim. And Wolfsburg are able to start an attack of their own here, inside their own half, with Gute Bergsvand, who plays in Caitlin Dijkstra, who came on as a second-half substitute against Carl Zeiss Jena in midweek. It was a very assured performance from her when she came on, the Dutch international. Lisa Doran, once again, not giving Linda any room to play. Here's Kieland. But Linda had to come back from an offside position, hence why she left it. Here's Lisanne Kraut over the throw-in for Hoffenheim. Huth. Here's Van Dijk. She's going to use her pace here, down the left-hand side, getting past Dijkstra, but she's had to come back to play in Gluning. Here's Deem for Hoffenheim. Coming out to Forsinger. And Pantour exchanging passes with Forringer. Hoffenheim now with room and time on the ball inside their own half. Wolfsburg just happy to sit off. That's an excellent cross-field ball all the way to Pantour, who played the ball into the 18-yard box. And that'll draw the corner kick for Hoffenheim. Jo Janssen made the run. It was a good run as well into the 18-yard box. Now let's see what Hoffenheim have got from the set piece. It's Valeska Amporter over it. She delivers it to the front post. It's flicked on, but Wolfsburg are able to clear. Kraut will take care of that one. That's a nice little ball forward. That's a good ball into the box. And that one's been well cleared by Kieland, but the ball will fall nicely for Amporter again. She comes in field, plays a nice little ball, exchanging passes. Ball goes all the way across the 18-yard box. Nobody on hand for Hoffenheim to pick that one up. And Wolfsburg are able to clear, only half though. Hoffenheim here, enjoying a little spell of pressure and plenty of the ball. But it's gone all the way back to Lara Dick in the Hoffenheim goal. She brings Deem into play. Here's Forringer. And Hoffenheim started the second half quite brightly. Here's Janssens. Van Dijk. And Porter. That's well played with Janssens. But Janssens has taken a knock on the hip there. And Janina Minga showing good sportsmanship and putting the ball out of play so that Porter can get some treatment off the park. She took quite a heavy knock just on the hip, and she was trying to break down that right-hand side. Maybe a slight break in play here. You can see just Jana Levels coming in with a 50-50 on top of Porter and just catching her on the hip. I do beg your pardon, with Janssens. And Janssens requires a little bit of treatment, but I'm sure she'll be fine and she'll be able to get back on the field of play very shortly. But Hoffenheim down to 10. What a ball forward. Oh, just offside. It's an excellent ball all the way across to Enderman. In the end, her shot was weak, but the offside flag went up early. And we'll start with a free kick inside the Hoffenheim half. Inside their own 18-yard box. Lara Dick this time goes long. And Dijk underneath it. Here's Keyline for Wolfsburg, but she's quickly closed down by Glöning. Here's Pedemors exchanging passes with Linder. Here's Huth now down the right-hand side. She's faced by Kraut. She comes back, and that's a good ball to Keyland. Now here's Pedemors. Again, Kraut is on hand, and she's able to clear the danger. And Hoffenheim are able to go all the way up to the halfway line. But Wolfsburg back with the ball, deep inside Hoffenheim's half, right down by the corner flag. And that one will go out for a throw-in to the home side. That one deflecting off Pedemors for the throw-in. So throw into Hoffenheim, half an hour still to play here. In the Dietmar Hopp Stadion, with a very healthy crowd looking on today. Here's Kraut over the throw-in for Hoffenheim, goes down the line. But Bergsvand will take care of that one for Wolfsburg. Comes back to Dijkstra. Now Hoffenheim are able to set themselves defensively with Wolfsburg on the ball. Here's Minga. Dijkstra once again, this time playing in Pedemors. And she's closed down very quickly by Lisa Dorn, who puts that one out for a throw-in to Wolfsburg. Linder getting it back from Dijkstra. Dijkstra coming all the way across to Janina Minga, who can get forward here. Well, that one took a slight nick of Francesca Harsh. It's broken up, but again, Wolfsburg are able to retain possession in a dangerous area. Pedemors flicking the ball through for Enderman inside the 18-yard box. And again, that's been well defended by Diem, and that one will go out for a corner kick to the away side. Hoffenheim defending really well here, not offering many opportunities for Wolfsburg, despite the efforts on goal tallying up. It's all been from outside the box or just inside. So a combination of good defending and poor finishing from Wolfsburg has kept the score to 0-0. 62 minutes played. Here's Huth, delivering it right on top of Lara Dick, and she will take that all day long. Thank you very much, she says. Here's Dorn. It's a nice ball in field to Harsh. She's got room here to get forward if she wishes. Still getting forward. She brings Ampuntur into play. Here's Janssens, recovered from that hip injury. Here's Levels for Wolfsburg. And that one is still in play. Still in play. And we carry on. Here's Diem for Hoffenheim. Enderman putting on pressure. But Hoffenheim are able to keep hold of the ball. Here's Janssens, comes in field to Ampuntur, and again getting it back. That's a nice ball into the penalty spot. And what an opportunity for Hoffenheim with Van Dijk. That's their first real effort on goal in this entire match. It's an excellent ball into the 18-yard box, and Van Dijk just couldn't quite glance the ball goalwards, and that one has gone past Johannes' right-hand post and out for the goal kick. But at long last, we have an effort registered on goal from the home side. 64 minutes played. Here's Dijkstra. That one's broken kindly for Linder. She goes forward, but Diem's giving that one away, cheap play. Here's Beerenstein, but she's been very well marshalled by Dorn. She tries to play the ball forward, but Dijkstra easily will cut that one out for Wolfsburg. She goes down the line for Beerenstein. Beerenstein's got room here. She needs to get her head up to see if she's got any runners. Enderman's joining her late. There she is, making her way to the back post. Beerenstein had no choice but to hold on to the ball. She was looking for support. And then Hoffenheim are able to clear that one for a throw-in, deep inside their own half to Wolfsburg. Huth will leave this one for Linder. Here's Huth. Linder again. She comes back to Minga. That's a good ball across field to Levels. Here's Enderman. Coming back to Dijkstra. Enderman again. Here's Levels. Comes in field. Good play on the left foot. Crowded out though by 3 Hoffenheim players, and eventually that one goes out for a throw-in to the away side, deep inside Hoffenheim's half, down this left-hand side. Levels over it. But that one's been put into touch from Justine Kieland, and that'll be a Hoffenheim throw. Jo Janssens over it for Hoffenheim. Plays it forward to Gluning. Here's Van Dijk. It's a nice turn if she can get there. But Hoffenheim once again guilty of giving the ball away cheaply, and that'll draw the foul. In a good area now for Wolfsburg to throw the ball into the 18-yard box. Lara Gluning guilty of the foul. To be fair, the ball was played behind her, and Enderman adjudged to have been brought down by Selina Serci. So Levels and Huth over this free kick. I think we might see the same pattern as the first half where Huth makes the run. Yeah, there she goes. And Levels will deliver this. She goes to the edge of the 18-yard box, and it wasn't quite cleared. Beerenstein had an effort. Bit of a swing of the left foot at it, but it takes a slight deflection and it goes out for a Wolfsburg corner kick. Jana Levels will come across for this one. This is her 7th corner of the game for Wolfsburg. Jana Levels over this one. Let's see if they can make a set piece count. Just coming up to 68 minutes played. She sets herself and delivers that to the front post. Here's Huth and Dijkstra. She'll just clip this one into the back post, and that's a brilliant ball into the far post. And Lynette Beerenstein with an excellent run, who anticipated the ball from Caitlin Dijkstra. And with 69 minutes played here in the Dietmar Hopp Stadion, it's Hoffenheim 0, Wolfsburg 1. It's an excellent ball from Dijkstra, and Lynette Beerenstein is not going to miss those ones. She ran in between Amporta and the Hoffenheim centre-back for Singer, and there was no way she was going to miss that. That's her 9th goal of the season. And Wolfsburg with a crucial lead here in Hoffenheim. And there's a double substitution for Wolfsburg in demand and levels going off. Thierry Bielda coming on. And we'll confirm the other substitution for you in just a moment. I think it's Lindland. Yes, it is Annie Karim Lindland, the 18-year-old, who also came on as a second-half substitute against Carl Zeiss Jena in midweek. But what a crucial goal that could be for Wolfsburg as they look to close the gap on Bayern Munich and go into their UEFA Champions League quarter-final with momentum. So Hoffenheim, with 20 minutes left to play now, with plenty to think about. Here's Bergsvan for Wolfsburg. Here's Minga, yeah. For Bergsvan. Bergsvan again. Comes in field to Pedemors. She comes out to Huth. Have a little bit too much for Berenstein, I would suggest. And Lara Dick and Janssens take care of it for Hoffenheim. Janssens goes long. That was kept in play by Kieland. Here's Minga. Here's Kieland, just inside Hoffenheim's half. That one was played through with purpose, a little bit too much, and Berenstein, our goal scorer, pounces on that one, looking to get forward. She does really well, trying to bring Lindman into play. And Hoffenheim are able to defend that one. Van Dijk's not able to take a hold of that one for Hoffenheim, and that one will come all the way back for Caitlin Dijkstra, who exchanges passes with Steiner Johannes. Here's Linder, now operating on the left-hand side. That's asking too much of Huth. Here's Selina Serci, drawing the foul from Pedemors. And that'll be a free kick in an interesting area for the home side. And if they get their bodies forward, they can throw this one into the 18-yard box. Looking for an equaliser now, having gone a goal behind. And it's Lassant Kraut over it. Valeska and Porter also on hand, but it's Kraut with a free kick into the 18-yard box. There's a flick on, and that one's been taken care of just by the Wolfsburg defence. Steiner Johannes coming out into no man's land, completely misjudging that. But she got away with it. Oh, Janssens looking for the foul, and she gets it from Linder. And another opportunity for the home side to throw one into the mix. And Porter over it again with Kraut. Looks like it's going to be Anne Porter this time, with the outswinger, I would suggest. Let's see what they decide to do. Just coming up to 15 minutes left here in the Dietmar Hopp Stadion. So it is Anne Porter this time. She delivers it. It's a good ball to the edge of the box. There's an effort on goal, and it's pinging about a little bit on the penalty spot, and eventually Wolfsburg are able to clear, and here's Linda, the second half substitute. Lindman trying to show a good turn of pace, and she does really well to retain possession deep inside Hoffenheim's half. The second half substitute did really well in an excellent foot race with Lucien Kraut. Here's Huth for Wolfsburg. Comes back to Dijkstra. Huth coming in field and then drawing the foul. So Hoffenheim free kick inside their own half. 15 minutes left to play here. And they come back to Lara Dick. She clears that one long, but Linde's over that one. That one breaks for Janssens. She'll get a second nibble at it. That one's played forward to Van Dijk. And again, Van Dijk is patrolled very tightly and carefully by Saraya Linder and Justine Kieland. Bergsvan playing the ball out to Dijkstra. Minga. Now Wolfsburg just looking to slow things down now that they've got that goal. Bergsvan going back to Johannes. Here's Dijkstra, closed down. And eventually that one goes out for a throw-in to Wolfsburg. Good play from Lara Glooning, showing plenty of energy to close Dijkstra down. Here's Bielda over the throw-in, sporting that facial mask just to protect a facial injury she recently picked up. Here's Lisa Doran, she should take care of that one, and she does, bringing the captain into play, Deem. Pedamors, that's a lovely switch of play. That's a heavy touch though from Linda, but she's got the room. She's closed down by Janssens. She's forced to turn back. She delivers the ball just to the edge of the 18-yard box. Lindman is trying to take that one down, but that one breaks free for Hoffenheim to clear. And Dijkstra once again showing good strength, exchanging passes. Here's Justine Kieland. She plays it forward to Linder. Pedamors for Wolfsburg. Here's Bielda. She turns back though to Dijkstra. And Dijkstra's forced to go all the way back to Steinar Johannes in the Wolfsburg goal. Wolfsburg now in control of the game. 12 minutes to go, still a goal to the good. As it stands, they will close the gap on Bayern Munich, albeit 11 points. Dean slightly miscontrolled that one, but she's got away with it. And Porter's forced to go all the way back to Lara Dick. Here's Dorn. So you can see where Wolfsburg are still dominating possession, 59%. Hoffenheim with just the one effort registered on goal to Wolfsburg's 15, of which 4 have been on target. That's the difference between the two sides, and of course that Lynette Berenstein goal on the 69th minute. But here's an opportunity for Hoffenheim to get forward. Here's Glooning. Here's Kaut with an effort. And that one's far too easy for Steinar Johannes. Kaut though, not scared to have a go from just outside the 18-yard box. But she's never going to trouble Steinar Johannes with that type of effort. Steiner Johannes, for the first time in this game, is actually forced to make a save. Now Dick will need to be careful of the bounce of the ball. She is. Here's Deem for Hoffenheim. Here's Janssens. Van Dijk. And Janina Minga straight on top of Janssens again, and Ann Porter. And here's a substitution for Hoffenheim. And we'll just confirm who. So Gluning is off. And Ann Porter also goes off for Maria Steiner. Number 26, Jana Grimm comes on, 20-year-old midfielder. Scored her first goal for the club just a couple of weeks ago against Essen. She came through the youth ranks here at Hoffenheim, so she's got 10 minutes to try and make an impact on this game. Here's Van Dijk, patrolled by two Hoffenheim players, Lindner and Bergsvand. Bergsvand eventually puts that one into touch for a Hoffenheim throw-in. Deep inside Wolfsburg's half. Janssens over it. Gets it back from Deem, but Deem's put that one straight into touch. And the two teams will exchange throw-ins deep inside Wolfsburg's half. Soraya Linde over the throw-in for Wolfsburg. Lindman trying to shield the ball, but Grimm puts it into play. It's very tight, congested down here, and eventually the ball is cleared. And that's a foot chase. But Forsinger had too much on Berenstein, and that one goes all the way back to Lara Dick. And here is Forringer again, showing good feet. That's a good ball forward for Van Dijk, but that one's gone straight up in the air. And here's Pedemoors playing the ball to Huth. Now Wolfsburg can slow things down with Bielda. That's a heavy touch from Pedemoors. And Hoffenheim, that's an excellent ball, look at that. And again, Soraya Linde is aware of the danger and is able to slide in and clear for a Hoffenheim throw-in. Kout over it. Here's Doorn. Here's Kout again, down the left-hand side. Delivers the ball into the edge of the 18-yard box. And here's an opportunity for a shot. And that one came straight back off the Hoffenheim player. And deflected away, right out of danger. Deflected off the substitute, Maria Steiner. And it looked like it was on target as well. And the ball's all the way back now with Lara Dick in the Hoffenheim goal. Here's Deem again. Coming out to Dorn. Here's Hoffenheim's next 5 games for you. Away to Freiburg, at home to Cologne. And a hugely difficult game away at the champions. You also have a trip up to the capital. And then they entertain Leipzig here at the Dietmar Hopp Stadion. For Wolfsburg, some very important games coming up away in the capital next. Then they entertain Frankfurt, who are just below them. Leipzig, Freiburg, and then Nuremberg. They finish off the next 5 games. And don't forget that UEFA Women's Champions League quarter-final tie against Lyon as well, thrown in for good measure. So the game's coming thick and fast for Stefan Lerch's side, who are a goal to the good here in Hoffenheim, with 7 minutes left to play or so. Here's Pedemoors, playing the ball out to Tia Bielda. Linde just asking for her colleagues to just slow it down, take it nice and easy, which they do. Here's Bergsvand. Minga going all the way back to Steiner Johannes in the Wolfsburg goal. She comes out to Bielda. Here's Huth. Bielda this time going down the line. Doan should be underneath that one, and that'll be a throw-in to the home side. Lauerdick has put that one straight back into touch, and that'll be a throw-in to Wolfsburg. Let's just confirm the next set of substitutions for you. Naomi Luyet back in the frame after being injured. She's back on, and she replaces Van Dijk. Good to see Luyet back after having a recent spell injured. Bielda underneath the throw-in. That'll be a foul. Keeland guilty of the foul. So with 5 minutes to go, Hoffenheim need to try and make something happen, and happen quickly, if they want to get anything out of this game and keep the pressure on the top three. European places, of course, up for grabs. But as it stands, they'll be 4 points behind Frankfurt on the same amount of games played. And there'll be a further 12 behind Wolfsburg in second place. So what's our referee Caroline Vaca done here? Looks like it's we're going to restart with a drop ball. And we do just that. Pedemours plays it back to Dijkstra. She goes long, looking for Berenstein. Here's Lindman. Here's Berenstein, our goal scorer, inside the 18-yard box. She gets a second nibble at it, shows good feet, excellent close control. Vanessa Deem able to take care of that one for Hoffenheim. That'll be a throw into the home side. There's another substitution for Wolfsburg. And our goal scorer, Lynette Berenstein, who was on hand at the back post to put Wolfsburg a goal to the good. And she's contributed her part in today's game, and she'll go off for Linnea Celine, number 41. Who comes on for a rare appearance for the She-Wolves. See Linnea Celine getting her chance, the Norwegian national. She's only 20 years old. She's going to go straight up front. This is only her second appearance for the first team since joining, well, since making her way through the youth ranks. She made 19 appearances for the youth team. Here's Lindman for Wolfsburg, bringing Huth into play. Here's Pedemours. That's a really good ball forward for Huth. If she's got enough on it, she can get there. Delivers the ball into the box. Janssens is over it, but that's come off. And the Lindman just a little, beg your pardon, Saraya Linder, just a little bit too anxious to join in on the attack. Gives the foul away on Hoffenheim's 18-yard box. And with 2 minutes left to play, Wolfsburg still a goal to the good. Here's Bielda. Doan over that one. Here's Dijkstra. Throws it straight back up the park. Counters underneath that one though for Hoffenheim. Breaks for Huth. Here's Bielda. Fan going all the way back to Steiner Johannes. Bielda going long down the line, but Lara Dick is aware of the danger and is able to clear into touch. That one will go out for a throw-in to Wolfsburg. Halfway through their own half. Lara Dick asking for more energy from her teammates into the last minute now. Another throw-in to Wolfsburg. Bielda over it. Stealing a couple of yards. Here's Huth playing it back to Bielda. It's a story of throw-ins in the last couple of minutes down this right-hand side. Bielda over it again. Keelan nodding it forward for Lindman. And eventually Hoffenheim are able to clear it. That one's gone over the head of Bergsvand. So just to confirm that we've got 3 minutes at the end of this first half. So 3 minutes either for Wolfsburg to make it safe or for Hoffenheim to get back into it. Throw into Wolfsburg. Celine making herself available for Soraya Linder. She goes to Justine Kieland, holding off Diem, showing good strength, showing excellent footwork as well. Really well played from Justine Kieland in a very tight position. That's excellent play from Wolfsburg to open it up for Pedemoors. She turns back. It's good play from Pedemoors. She's got Huth to her right-hand side. Here's Huth. Pedemoors again. She has a go at goal, and that one's just wide of Lara Dick's left-hand post. Good play from Wolfsburg, retaining possession, counting down the clock. That's not a bad effort on goal at all from Ella Pedemoors. Just wide of the post. Here's Hoffenheim, trying to get forward, but that one's been broken up by Pedemoors. Here's Bielda. And she wins the throw-in inside Hoffenheim's half. Bielda going long. Forsinger was over that one. Frustrating afternoon for Eva Forsinger, the Hoffenheim head coach. If there was just a little bit more application in the final third from the home side, you just never know. But they haven't done enough to test Steiner Johannes in the Wolfsburg goal today. Kieland playing it ball forward. Here's Kieland. Here's Huth. Janina Minga playing the ball out to Tia Bielda. Once again, Wolfsburg keeping possession of the ball. Good play from Sviana Huth. But Hoffenheim are able to close that one down, but they've given it away cheaply in a dangerous area. Here's Lindman. She's well tackled. Now Hoffenheim need to get motoring here. We have seconds left on the clock. But Dijkstra should be able to take care of that one, asking Steiner Johannes to come out. And Steiner Johannes is able to collect the ball, and that will be that. A hugely important win for the She-Wolves today in Hoffenheim. Winning by 1-0, closing the gap on Bayern Munich after Bayern Munich beat Essen comfortably last night. Just a single goal from Lineth Berenstein, her 9th goal of the season on 69 minutes. And that sets them up perfectly for a hugely important Champions League quarter-final tie against Lyon in midweek. For Hoffenheim, they will remain in 4th place with games still to come this weekend. Werder Bremen and Bayer Leverkusen chasing them down in 5th and 6th place. But here in the Dietmar Hopp Stadion, it's finished. Hoffenheim 0, Wolfsburg 1.
Kinder von unserer U12, der TSG 1899 Hoffenheim und natürlich an die Einlaufkinder, die E-Juniorinnen vom VfB St. Leon und Tura unter Münkheim. Schön, dass ihr mit dabei wart. Kommt gut nach Hause. Danke, bis zum nächsten Mal. Wir werfen noch einen Blick auf die Tabelle dieser Google Pixel Frauen-Bundesliga. Der FC Bayern nach dem Sieg gestern da vorne nach 20 Partien mit 58 Punkten. Dann folgt der VfL Wolfsburg jetzt mit 47 Zählern und damit 8 Punkten mehr als Eintracht Frankfurt, die Dritter sind. Und für TSG Hoffenheim vierter Platz nach 21 Spielen mit 35 Zählern.